The following teaching is possible thanks to the friends and partners of Spirit and Truth Fellowship International.
So we're looking at Matthew chapter 28, verse 1, and we see that Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to the tomb of Jesus to view it. And it's very important that we just read what's written here, because many commentators and Bible teachers miss what's going on here, and they confuse this record with the record where the women are bringing the spices. It doesn't say they're bringing any spices. This is on the Sabbath day, late on the Sabbath day, and they didn't come to bring spices. Let's read the verse again. Matthew chapter 28, verse 1. Now late on the Sabbath day, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. They weren't carrying anything. It was the Sabbath. They couldn't carry anything on the Sabbath. They just went to see the tomb and perhaps to check out to see if the guards had left yet. And it says specifically it's late on the Sabbath day. And then of course they would view the sepulchre, the tomb, and then they would leave. And then what else happened on Saturday night, right around that same time? Jesus Christ got up from the dead. Absolutely, because by that time he'd been dead. This is Saturday right before sunset. He'd been in the ground 3 days and 3 nights, just like he said. Now, one thing that we need to be clear about in our minds is that when Jesus Christ got up from the dead, he didn't have to roll the stone back. The Bible is not clear what time, when exactly the stone was rolled back. We know that the angels came down and scared the guards and rolled the stone back before Sunday morning. And it had to be after the women came and viewed the tomb, which was close to sunset on Saturday night. Now, you and I both know when Jesus Christ got up from the dead, he did not need to move the stone to get out of the tomb. He could get up from the dead and get out of the tomb without touching the stone. That was no problem. He'd just go right through. So what's going on here is, what was the exact timing of the angel coming down, the stone being rolled, and scaring the guards, and the guards running away? That was probably in the wee hours of the morning, something like that. But in truth, we don't really know. The Bible isn't clear on it. What we do know is it was after these two women came to the tomb on Saturday night, and before women came back to the tomb on Sunday morning. Exactly. And so Jesus Christ, Saturday evening, right before sunset, gets up from the dead, bless God, and he's still up from the dead. And then we move on with the chronology, because now all of a sudden you start into Sunday with sunset. We went into Sunday, the first day of the week, and then the Bible tells us that Mary Magdalene came to the tomb very early. John chapter 20 verse 1 says, early on the first day of the week. And now we know the first day of the week biblically is Sunday. So early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw the stone had been removed. By then Jesus Christ was already up. Just a little bit later, Luke chapter 24:1 says, but on the first day of the week, at early dawn, they went to the tomb. This is the women with the spices, taking the spices they had prepared. When they got there, Luke chapter 24 verse 6, here's the angel. He says, he is not here. He is risen. And then remember how he told you he was going into Galilee. So this then is the record of the last week, the crucifixion week of Jesus Christ. And all of the information then fits. Jesus is in the ground for 3 days and 3 nights. Jesus can be being tried before Pilate at noon, but still be crucified at 9 in the morning. The women can buy spices after the Sabbath, but before the Sabbath. All the pieces of information that don't fit and cause problems in the traditional model are all taken care of. So let's just go back to the chart and let's just run through the whole week so we see exactly the week laid out before us. It starts out with our Monday, the 12th of Nisan. Jesus has the Last Supper at sunset. there Tuesday starts. That would be Nisan 13. Jesus is arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane, taken before Annas and tried, taken before Caiaphas and tried. And then the next morning, Tuesday morning, Caiaphas and Annas gather the entire Sanhedrin, the whole Jewish council, and try Jesus. He's found guilty and worthy of death. They take him to Pilate. Pilate doesn't want to mess with Jesus, is more than happy to send him to Herod. Herod tries Jesus, but sends him back to Pilate. Pilate tries Jesus at about 12 noon, offers up Barabbas, has Jesus flogged, and then hands him over to the soldiers, who then gather the entire Roman cohort there, and they beat and torture Jesus through the night until 9 o'clock on our Wednesday morning, when Jesus is crucified. And at 12 noon, he's hanging on the cross, and darkness comes over the land. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he breathes his last. He dies. Joseph of Arimathea goes and gets his body and buries him in the ground just as the Sabbath is coming on. And so then Jesus Christ will be 3 days and 3 nights in the ground. Then with sunset starts the special Sabbath, and that's day 1. Then Friday, and that's day 2. And that's when the women go and buy and prepare spices after the Sabbath, but before the Sabbath. Then you have Saturday come on, that's the weekly Sabbath. And late in the afternoon or evening on the weekly Sabbath, the women view the tomb, and you have the resurrection. Wednesday afternoon to Thursday afternoon 1 day, Thursday afternoon to Friday afternoon 2 days, Friday afternoon to Saturday afternoon 3 days, 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. That's when Jesus was resurrected. Sunday starts when evening comes, and early in the morning, while it's still dark, Mary Magdalene comes to the tomb, and the stone is rolled away, and Jesus is already gone. Then the other women show up, and the angel is there, and the angel says, and by the way, Mary Magdalene meets Jesus personally. The women do not. There's an angel there who says, he is not here, he is risen. And that's how the crucifixion week of our Lord Jesus Christ plays out, and all the scriptures fit together. God bless you.